According to Section 422.41 of the National Electrical Code, titled Disconnecting Means Location, every electric water heater must have a readily accessible disconnecting means located within sight of the water heater. This code requirement ensures that a person working on the water heater can easily and safely de-energize it, preventing electrical shock hazards. The term readily accessible means the disconnecting means must be located so it can be reached quickly without having to climb over obstacles or remove panels. The phrase within sight generally means that the disconnecting means is visible from the water heater and not more than 50 feet away. This distance is not explicitly defined, but it is widely accepted in the electrical industry. The disconnecting means can take several forms, including a dedicated circuit breaker in the electrical panel, a switch near the water heater, or a cord and plug connection for smaller units. Firstly, consider the circuit breaker option. If a dedicated circuit breaker is used as the disconnecting means, it must be clearly labeled to indicate that it controls the water heater circuit. The circuit breaker should be readily accessible, meaning it is not obstructed or difficult to reach. Secondly, a switch near the water heater is another acceptable disconnecting means. This switch should be clearly labeled to indicate its purpose. It should be installed in a convenient location where it can be easily reached during maintenance or repair. Thirdly, for smaller water heaters, a cord and plug connection may be used as the disconnecting means. In this case, the receptacle must be readily accessible and located within sight of the water heater. This option is typically used for portable or smaller capacity water heaters. When selecting a disconnecting means, it is important to consider the voltage and amperage requirements of the water heater. The disconnecting means must be rated for the appropriate voltage and amperage to safely interrupt the circuit. For example, a 240 volts water heater requires a disconnecting means rated for at least 240 volts. Similarly, if the water heater draws 20 amps, the disconnecting means must be rated for at least 20 amps. Proper installation of the disconnecting means is crucial for ensuring safety and code compliance. The disconnecting means should be installed according to the manufacturer's instructions and all applicable electrical codes. It is recommended to consult a qualified electrician for installation or if there are any questions about code requirements. Regular inspection and maintenance of the disconnecting means are also important. Check the disconnecting means periodically to ensure it is functioning properly and that there are no signs of damage or wear. If any problems are found, the disconnecting means should be repaired or replaced immediately. The purpose of this requirement is to enhance electrical safety when working on or around electric water heaters. By having a readily accessible disconnecting means within sight, technicians and homeowners can quickly de-energize the water heater, reducing the risk of electrical shock. This is particularly important during maintenance, repairs, or in emergency situations. The National Electrical Code is a comprehensive set of standards that governs the safe installation of electrical wiring and equipment. It is updated every 3 years to reflect the latest technological advancements and safety practices. Adhering to the NEC is essential for ensuring the safety of people and property. When working with electricity, always exercise caution and follow safe work practices. De-energize the circuit before working on any electrical equipment and use appropriate personal protective equipment such as insulated gloves and safety glasses. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to consult a qualified electrician. Electrical work can be dangerous, and it is important to take the necessary precautions to protect yourself and others. The NEC requirements for disconnecting means for electric water heaters are just one example of the many safety measures included in the code. By understanding and following these requirements, you can help ensure the safe and reliable operation of electrical systems. Section 422.41 specifically focuses on the location of the disconnecting means to ensure it is readily accessible and within sight of the appliance. This specific placement is intentional to facilitate quick and safe de-energization when needed. The readily accessible aspect means that the disconnect should not be behind locked doors requiring tools to access, or otherwise obstructed. Consider a scenario where a water heater is leaking or malfunctioning. The ability to quickly shut off the power at a local disconnect is paramount to prevent further damage or potential electrical hazards. This contrasts with having to locate and operate a breaker in a distant panel, which could introduce delays and increase risk. The term "within sight" is equally important. It means that the person operating the disconnect can visually confirm that the water heater is de-energized. This visual confirmation provides an additional layer of safety, ensuring that the correct circuit has been interrupted before any work begins. The NEC aims to minimize potential risks through these precise requirements. Consider also the different types of disconnecting means that can be employed. A dedicated circuit breaker in the electrical panel is a common choice, but it must be clearly labeled to avoid confusion. The labeling should accurately identify the circuit breaker as belonging to the specific water heater. Alternatively, a wall switch mounted near the water heater provides a readily accessible and visually confirmable disconnect. The switch should be rated for the voltage and current requirements of the water heater circuit. For smaller water heaters that are cord and plug connected, the act of unplugging the unit serves as the disconnecting means. However, the receptacle must be readily accessible and within sight, adhering to the same principles of safety and convenience. The disconnect requirement also ties into other NEC articles, such as those concerning overcurrent protection. The circuit supplying the water heater must have appropriate overcurrent protection, typically a circuit breaker or fuse, sized according to the water heater's nameplate rating and the conductor's ampacity. This overcurrent protection works in conjunction with the disconnecting means to ensure a safe and reliable electrical system. The disconnecting means allows for safe maintenance, while the overcurrent protection prevents damage from overloads or short circuits. The NEC also addresses specific requirements for the installation and wiring of water heaters. Grounding is a crucial aspect of electrical safety, and water heaters must be properly grounded to provide a low impedance path for fault current. The grounding conductor should be sized and installed according to NEC guidelines to effectively carry fault current back to the source, tripping the overcurrent protection device. Furthermore, the NEC regulates the type and size of conductors used to supply the water heater. The conductors must be rated for the ampacity of the circuit and be suitable for the installation environment. Factors such as ambient temperature, conductor insulation type, and conduit fill can affect the ampacity of conductors, so it is important to consider these factors when selecting the appropriate conductors. Another important aspect to consider is the working space around the water heater. The NEC requires adequate working space around electrical equipment, including water heaters, to allow for safe access and maintenance. This working space should be free of obstructions and provide sufficient room for electricians to perform their work safely. The dimensions of the required working space are specified in the NEC and depend on the voltage and current of the equipment. In addition to the disconnecting means requirement, the NEC also addresses other safety considerations for water heaters, such as temperature and pressure relief valves. These valves are designed to prevent excessive pressure and temperature buildup in the water heater, which can lead to explosions or other hazards. The temperature and pressure relief valve should be properly installed and maintained to ensure it functions correctly. The NEC also includes requirements for the location of water heaters, particularly in relation to flammable materials. Water heaters should not be installed in locations where they could ignite flammable materials, such as gasoline or propane. The NEC specifies minimum clearances between water heaters and flammable materials to prevent fire hazards. The NEC is a living document that is constantly evolving to address new technologies and safety concerns. It is important for electricians, contractors, and homeowners to stay up to date on the latest NEC requirements to ensure the safe and compliant installation of electrical systems. Regularly reviewing the NEC and attending training courses can help ensure that you are knowledgeable about the latest code requirements. When installing or maintaining an electric water heater, it is essential to consult the NEC and follow all applicable code requirements. This will help ensure the safety of yourself, your family, and your property. If you are unsure about any aspect of the electrical installation, it is always best to consult a qualified electrician. Electricians have the knowledge and experience to safely and properly install and maintain electrical systems. Ignoring the NEC requirements for disconnecting means can lead to serious consequences, including electrical shock, fire, and property damage. A disconnecting means is a critical safety feature that can prevent accidents and save lives. Therefore, it is essential to comply with the NEC requirements and ensure that electric water heaters are properly installed and maintained. Remember, electrical safety is everyone's responsibility. By taking the necessary precautions and following the NEC requirements, we can help create a safer environment for ourselves and others. In summary, Section 422.41 of the National Electrical Code mandates a readily accessible disconnecting means within sight of every electric water heater. This requirement is designed to enhance electrical safety during maintenance, repairs, or emergencies. The disconnecting means can be a dedicated circuit breaker, a wall switch, or a cord and plug connection. Regardless of the type, it must be properly rated and installed according to the NEC. By adhering to this requirement, we can minimize the risk of electrical shock and ensure the safe operation of electric water heaters. The readily accessible disconnecting means within sight allows for immediate energization of the water heater, providing a crucial safety measure for anyone working on or around the equipment. This is just one example of how the NEC works to protect people and property from electrical hazards. Therefore, it is essential to understand and comply with all applicable NEC requirements when installing or maintaining electrical systems. The purpose of the readily accessible disconnect is to allow someone working on the water heater or responding to an emergency to quickly and safely de-energize the unit. This prevents accidental electric shock and reduces the risk of fire. Having the disconnect within sight ensures that the person operating the disconnect can visually confirm that the correct unit is de-energized. This visual confirmation is a crucial safety measure that helps prevent accidents. The NEC also considers the physical accessibility of the disconnect. It must be located so that it can be easily reached without having to climb over obstacles or move other equipment. This ensures that the disconnect can be operated quickly and efficiently in an emergency. The disconnect must be clearly labeled to identify the water heater it controls. This labeling helps prevent confusion and ensures that the correct unit is de-energized. The labeling should be durable and easily readable. The NEC recognizes different types of disconnects, each suitable for different applications. Circuit breakers are a common choice, especially for permanently wired water heaters. Switches are another option, providing a local disconnect point near the water heater. Cord and plug connections are suitable for portable or smaller water heaters, allowing for easy disconnection. Regardless of the type of disconnect used, it must be properly rated for the voltage and current of the water heater circuit. This ensures that the disconnect can safely interrupt the flow of electricity in the event of a fault or overload. The NEC also specifies the required working clearance around electrical equipment, including water heaters. This clearance provides sufficient space for electricians to safely access and work on the equipment. The working clearance must be maintained free of obstructions. The NEC disconnecting means requirements are just one part of a comprehensive set of safety standards for electrical installations. By following these standards, we can help ensure the safe and reliable operation of electrical systems. Remember, electrical work can be dangerous, and it is always best to consult a qualified electrician if you are unsure about any aspect of the installation. By following the National Electrical Code, specifically Section 422.41 regarding the disconnecting means location for electric water heaters, ensures that a readily accessible disconnect is located within sight of the water heater to reduce risk of electrical shock or fires and make the work environment safer.